Ready when you are. Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to All About Healing. I'm your host, Emily Francis, and it is time for today's Emily's Energy Corner. And I want this to be as free-flowing as possible, so I have no notes on this, but I've been giving it a lot of thought. So I watched the other night on Netflix, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and one of my little brother's friends was one of the first people on this new Queer Eye, the old, the new group that started with Netflix. So he was on season 1. He's right here in Georgia boy, and I finally got around to watching it last night, which is terrible because I'm a year late. And I finally watched, and he said something that really struck me, and it was that he has recently lost 110 pounds. Now, I never talk about body weight or body. I talk about body image, but not body weight, and I also don't talk about diet and things like that, because that is not the point of my show. All About Healing is about giving you your best life and tools that you can find to help get you there, and people that have written amazing books or that have a beautiful story, things like that. So as I start this conversation, understand that in no way is this conversation about our weight or any sort of judgment. But he had lost 110 pounds. And when they asked him, how do you feel? He said, I feel amazing. All I can think is, what took me so long? And that's the part of Emily's Energy Corner for today. What took me so long? And my question to myself and to all of you is, do you have the courage to face whatever it is that is blocking you from whatever place you want to be? And that could be with your body, it could be with a practice, it could be with returning to school or a different job or doing something unique. And do you have the courage in yourself to stop making excuses of why you're not doing something that you know would be amazing if you chose to do it? And everybody has something like that in their life. And it's huge. It's a hugely profound thought. And I get it that people, whenever they finally do make that life improvement, they think, gosh, I will never go back. Or they think, what took me so long? This is amazing. Wow, it's kind of like my life wasn't even as good until this thing, whatever this thing is. And we know there's so many times in our life that we know that if we were to finally take the plunge or become disciplined enough or face our fear and show up for something, whatever that something is to you, that we would have a better quality of life right now, that we would feel grateful because we finally did that change. But how hard is that? And how many times, I'm speaking for myself really, how many times have I hid behind the wall that prevents me from doing that next thing? And it's almost like it's a fear tactic, because if we do that next thing and we make ourselves that much better or we enjoy ourselves that much more, then we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay, this really good thing happened to me, so now something bad's got to happen so that it evens out, right? Life's always got to keep the balance. But that is not true. That is such a fallacy that we have bought into. And every time that I find myself having those thoughts of like, okay, this is really awesome, so okay, what's going to happen on the other side? I have to stop myself and say, no, that is not the way of the universe. That's the way of you. And you block yourself because of your thinking. And that small thinking just doesn't get to live here anymore. So you have to trust and have faith in yourself and in the big plan, the big picture, that you're allowed to be happy and you're allowed to do whatever this next thing is. So do you personally have the courage to go past your own mind games, your own excuses, your own fearful thoughts, and show up anyway? And this happened for me today because I already had an appointment. There's something that I've wanted to go back to for years. For years I've wanted to go back, but I've been very busy and I've had a million things going on. I'm a mother to young children. I've helped recover my child from an autism diagnosis. I haven't really had time to just go and frolic about in the things that I really want to do, even though I knew that it would improve the quality of my life and my health. And last week I made a phone call and I set up an appointment to show up. And this morning I showed up and I met my new teacher from my new practice. And that's something that's been so long overdue, but it took such a leap of overcoming and having the courage to show up anyway, despite all the mental things that I say, why I can't, why I'm afraid, what I'm afraid to face. It's scary. It's not comfortable to show up. It's not supposed to be. It wasn't designed to be comfortable. Comfortable sits on your couch. Uncomfortable is up and out the door somewhere into something new. And you know what? I signed up again for tomorrow. And then I prepaid so that I'm going to keep showing up because I'm in charge of myself and I'm tired of the story that I've been telling myself. And when I watched that Queer Eye episode last night, when he said that, it was like, bam, that's what it is. That's what I've been waiting to hear. Why have I been waiting so long? Feels amazing. Why do we not let ourselves enjoy really simple things or really difficult things? For me, this was a huge hurdle and it's overwhelming. And it's scary, and it shouldn't be. So if I told somebody else, hey, I'm going to this new thing, and I'm going to do this new practice, they'd go, well, didn't you always do that, or don't you already know it, or isn't it? Yes, well, a long time ago, it used to be a big part of my life. But it hasn't been for a very long time, long enough for it to be where I consider myself a beginner and I'm starting over. Even though I'm trusting in my body memory and my muscle memory to remember, it's still really scary, and I took the leap anyway, and it does feel good. I feel a little loopy, I won't lie, because it was a little overwhelming to my body today. And I think that somewhere my cells are rejoicing and saying, yes, she finally came back. Yes, yes, keep going. And then there's this other part of me that goes, oh, that was too hard. You should probably back off. It's that devil and angel on each shoulder, and it's that positive and negative thought in your head, but you got to get out of the way. And whatever that is, whatever wall it is that sits in your way of doing something that will make you happier as you continue with it, we got to remove the wall. And for a lot of us, it was anxiety or depression or the way that we think or the way that we feel like we look. And what's different for me is me showing up now. Well, I'm a mom and I'm overweight and I've let myself go and I don't look the right part. And so now I'm not even competitive. That's out the window. So now I just get to start over as somebody totally new than who it would have been 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, I would have picked the most fit person in the class and tried to compete with them and want to be as good as they are and use them as my muse. And now those people they are not even on my radar. I'm coming in as a totally different person. And I am okay with that because the only person I need to be better than is who I was yesterday. But it's facing that fear to show up. And showing up, once you show up, you're there. Just walking in the door, you've already hit 90% of your goal is just walking in the door, wherever the location is. It doesn't have to be that you're going to go back to a practice or a physical practice or, I don't know what it is for you. But when I listened to him last night, it just was, it was so eye-opening to me. And it just reminded me that I have been hearing this call for a long time because I already had this appointment set and I had it for 2 weeks. That I was going to be there today. And I did, and I showed up. But hearing that last night, for me to even think, I should turn on Netflix and finally watch that show and watch my brother's friend on this show. And I enjoyed it so much. But just to hear that little simple statement was such a confirmation for me personally. It was like a little letter going, hey, Emily, you're on the right path. Show up. You're going to be saying this in a couple months. Why did I wait so long? Wow, I forgot how much I love this. Those things. And that's what it's about. So ask yourself, do you have the courage to face your own fear, get out of your way, and show up anyway, and change the internal dialogue to get there? So I'm Emily Francis. You've been listening to All About Healing. Thank you, VitaJewel, for sponsoring the show. I look forward to seeing everybody back here next Wednesday. You're in charge of making it a great week. We'll see you then.